special guest. Two very special guests. Say hi, Macy. And today I thought I would introduce you guys to my boyfriend. And we're going to bring back the old school YouTube boyfriend tag. So we're just going to be answering some about you questions and some random fun questions. Hopefully they're fun. And then that's going to be the video. So we are currently on a road trip to Minneapolis, Minnesota for Labor Day weekend. We're going to go stay with my brother, and we are hanging out with my two best friends from high school and their boyfriends and some other friends of ours. So it's going to be a fun weekend, but we have a long drive. So we're going to answer these questions and we will jump right in. Okay, so first question. What's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. So this is my boyfriend, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan.
And, okay, so first real question. How long have we been together?
It'll be 2 years in November.
Mm-hmm. Yep, officially 2 years in
11.
11/11. Yep. Good job. Good job. Kudos to you. How did we meet?
The full story or the half story?
I don't know. Give him the juicy details. Full story.
Well, actually, back in the day when we actually had and used Tinder. Yeah, that was actually when we first started talking.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, she thought I was fake. She thought I was a fake profile.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Should I tell that? Okay, let's pause there. Yeah, so we met on started talking on Tinder, and fun fact, he was one of 3 guys that I had swiped on, and all the other ones ended up being creepy or weird or whatever. And so his profile obviously says he lives in Sioux Falls, where we live, and then I think it said you were from California, or maybe it said hometown is somewhere in California, and that he went to Augustana University, which is in Sioux Falls, and somehow it said that he was from California. I don't even remember how Tinder profiles work anymore, but and so I had some of my really good friends went to Augustana, and it's a pretty small school.
Yeah, very small.
Yeah, so I asked them, I was like, oh, do you know this guy Jonathan? And they're like, no, I've never heard of him or seen him. And I was like, well, it says he's pre-med and that he is from California. So I was like, okay, this is sketchy. And of course, he's really good looking. So he was it was all just too good to be true. So, but then he started messaging me. And so he kept talking. And I was like, okay, I mean, he's nice enough and can carry on a conversation. But I thought it was super sketchy that none of my friends knew who he was. So I was actually studying with one of my best friends one day in the library, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if this guy is real. I think it might be a catfish type thing, account, whatever. And then she was like, well, let me look at his Facebook profile. And we have one friend in common, I think 2 friends, something like that. And then she goes, oh, my friend Gabby knows him. And so I was like, oh, Gabby's here. So we called her over, and I'm like, do you know this Jonathan guy? And she's like, oh, yeah, he's so nice, love him, he's super sweet. And I was like, okay, so he is real, he's legit. And so that was kind of the Tinder story. So yeah, thought he was fake for a long time. Just it seemed too good to be true, as cheesy as that sounds.
That's funny.
So, okay, so started on Tinder.
Yeah, so we talked on Tinder. And we were talking for, when was that?
The beginning of January, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Still in the winter?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that went on for a couple months. I worked a lot and we studied a lot as well. So whenever we try to set something up, it didn't actually happen.
Wait, rewind Rewind, because we met in the end of January. Because remember it's the end of J term where we actually met?
I thought that was over spring break.
No, you were in Panama City at spring break.
Oh yeah.
So
we actually met through her, or no, she was at a bar, the Crow Bar, which was one of the college bars, the go-to for our school at least. Then I had a friend, and I told her that I wasn't going to go.
Yeah, because I was like snapping him, and I was like, oh, you should come to the Crowbar tonight, because I had gone with my best friend, and even we'd decided to go was like a last minute decision, because we were gonna go, and then my friend was like, oh, I don't really feel like it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, like we can stay in tonight. And then she texted me like an hour or two later, and she's like, okay, I'm bored, come over and let's get ready, let's go out. So that was when I snapped him and was like, oh, you should come out, come to the Crowbar. And he was like, oh no, I don't think I'm gonna come out tonight, because I forget what the reason was. You didn't have your car or something. And yeah.
And I actually was pretty set on not going.
Mm-hmm.
And then I figured out that just like maybe 30 minutes or an hour after she told me to go, I had a friend that said, come out to the Crowbar. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess, whatever, okay, we'll just go. So yeah, that happened. We finally met, like officially met.
Yeah.
I figured out that you also knew another mutual friend of ours, but yeah, we met at a bar.
Yeah.
That's what we tell people.
Romantic.
That's what we tell people.
Always told myself I never wanted to meet my person, my significant other, at a bar.
It's better than
And here I
saying
am.
Tinder.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it sounds a little rough. Let's see, next one. What was our first trip as a couple?
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right.
That was so fun.
Was
yeah.
it?
Uh-huh. Yeah. That was our first trip. We went to San Francisco, and like Napa Valley.
That was like a spur of the moment type of thing. It was like
Well,
something we talked about.
Yeah,
it for a
well, it was
second.
something that I had always talked about going with my college roommates. We were like, oh my gosh, we love wine. We want to go to wine country. And this was like, I wasn't even into like good wine. It was like, oh, I like White Zinfandel. I like Moscato, like that kind of stuff. But then,
I ain't just trying to red wine.
yeah, he got me really into Cabs, which is like my favorite kind of wine now. I love Cabs. And so my college roommates and I had always wanted to go to Napa, but we're like, okay, we know it's expensive, so we're gonna like save it up and do like a girls trip. And so I was talking to him, he's like, well, flights aren't that expensive, so we should just go. And I like, of course, I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And then, you know, not thinking anything of it.
Yeah, because we weren't dating.
No,
Were
we
we
weren't even
dating by then?
officially dating. We'd
No,
been
wasn't.
like dating each other
This
for
was still,
like several months.
This was at the end of the summer. is
Yeah.
When we were
Well,
talking about
we
this.
went in October.
Yeah.
And of 2017, and we kind of started seeing each other in like June, which we'll have to go back into that part. But so our first trip was in October, and then we officially started dating in November. But yeah, so we drove to Minneapolis and flew from Minneapolis to San Francisco and spent like 3 days there, I think, or 2 full days, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super fun. It was like a really fun trip. We stayed in San Francisco, not too far off the bay, and then we
Yeah, like right down the street from it.
yeah, and then we drove to a vineyard, a super pretty vineyard. It's called Newton Vineyard. It's like a very private vineyard with like these gorgeous gardens, and like they only do a couple types of wine, but very, very private. I mean, we were the only ones there besides the employees. So if you are looking for a vineyard, go definitely check out Newton Vineyard. It's super pretty, and the guy there
It was
is
really cool.
yeah, the guy that did our tour, he was, I forget what his position was, super, super nice guy. But I went to use the bathroom right when he got there, because it was like an hour Uber ride, which is a whole other story.
That was expensive.
Yeah. That was like a $120 Uber ride. But we got there, and I went in to use the bathroom, and the guy was talking to Jonathan, and he's like, please tell me you've taken her to other vineyards, because it only goes downhill from here.
Yeah,
And he's
seriously.
like, no, she's never been to a vineyard before, and it was my first one. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to be hard to beat. It's beautiful, and especially in the fall. We went at like the perfect time without even planning it.
It was right after
It
the
was,
fires. too.
yeah, it was after some really bad fires, but
Yeah.
it had just gone like basically like around the vineyards in this area. But so yeah, that was super fun. And then we checked out like Fisherman's Wharf and stuff. We did like the boat cruise of like the Alamo and the Golden Gate Bridge and stuff.
The Alamo? No, it's not the Alamo. It's
Not the Alamo. Alcatraz. The Alamo. It was a long boat ride.
different state.
Yeah, I've been there too, but San Antonio. And then, what else did we do? That was pretty much it. We stayed at like a really nice hotel and kind of checked that
downtown
out.
San Francisco.
Oh yeah, we
walked
did.
around.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But what sucked is we had planned on getting a rental car, and Jonathan he was older, so he had like booked it before we got there. And then we went to go, it was in this super sketchy area. We got like an Uber to go get our rental car.
Yeah.
And then he walked in and didn't realize that even if he had booked it ahead of time, that he still had to have like your credit card or something.
Apparently you can't use cash or debit card unless you're 25 years old.
Right, which he was like
2009.
24, 23 at the time.
So I was 24, but I needed a credit card.
And then,
none of us brought a credit card.
Yeah, so we were trying to figure out, I mean, he's from California, so we were like, oh, well, he has a California license, like, maybe if we get that, they'll let it. But then you had to have, in order to do it without being 25, without having a credit card, you had to have, like, a utility bill for the state of California with your name on it. It was, like, super strict, so we're like, whatever. So we ended up spending a crap ton of money on Ubers and Lyft, like, for that whole weekend. I mean, hundreds of dollars. It was ridiculous. So, anyway, that was the only downside of the trip. Otherwise, it was really fun. So, that was our first trip. Let's go back to Maisie Jane. Let's go back to you. Come here. Come here. Come here. Should we tell him how you played a hand? You're the reason why he's actually dating me? Let's tell him that. So, like Jonathan had kind of started saying.
In case you're wondering about the gap between January to June.
January to November.
Well, no,
But yeah, January to June. So we were both in school. At the time, I was about to graduate. He was in his third year. And so I went to school like 45 minutes away, but I'm from Sioux Falls. So I came there and worked on the weekends and would study at Augustana's library and whatnot. So he was saying, you know, he worked a lot. He worked at the hospital, and he was, you know, pre-med at the time, so he had a huge, you know, study load and school load and everything. So I would always come back on, I think, Thursday nights, and would stay like through the weekend. And so I would always text him, and we'd try to hang out when he got off work on Thursday nights. And so we would always be texting and be like, okay, like, let's just like text me when you get off work, or we'll hang out after you get off work. And so I would be like waiting for him to like text me so we could hang out, and he would just never text me. And then
probably because I'm sleeping.
Yeah, like he'd get off work at like, I don't know, like 11, something like that, and I'd be like, okay, we can go like grab food or something, or ice cream or whatever. It must have been 10 o'clock, not 11.
10:30. Yeah, 11 o'clock.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. Okay, so yeah, late. And so then this happened, I mean, like week after week after week. I was like, we're like, okay, like let's hang out, you know. We'd text on like Tuesday or something. We'd be texting consistently, but then like on Tuesday or something, we'd be like, oh, like let's hang out after you get off work. And we'd be like, okay, yep, gonna do it. And then I'd be waiting, and he wouldn't text me. So I was like, okay. So then I remember my friend San saying to me, she's like, okay, I'm giving you until, what was it, April 12th or something. She gave me like a day. She's like, I'm giving you until that day, and if you guys haven't hung out by then, like, we're cutting it. Like, I'm cutting you off. You need to move on. Like, he's not good for, you know, he's not good for you, whatever. So I was like, okay, like I'm not too worried about it. Like, I don't feel like he's stringing me along, but I also am like not, oh my god, I need to stop playing with my hair. Like, I don't feel like he's stringing me along, but I was also like, yeah, this is pretty annoying, but I'm also like not about to wait around for somebody that's, you know, not gonna make me a priority. So I was like, okay, that's fair. Like, I'll go with it. So it was like 2 weeks before that, and I was kind of getting just fed up. Like, we had like seen each other like 2 other times. Like, we ran into each other at the bars on his brother's 21st birthday, and then we had hung out like once at your house, like very briefly, and then that was like it. And so I was just kind of like, okay, I don't think he's like interested enough to keep going. And I was like, okay, plus he's like far away, and there's, you know, so not far away, he's like 45 minutes, but I was like, okay, I get it. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my senior year, have fun with my friends, and just, you know, whatever. If somebody else comes along, somebody else comes along. So then I like graduated, and I went on a trip to Mexico with my roommate after I graduated. And I remember he had snapped me a picture of this loft that he was looking at. And you know, while I was in Mexico, I was like reading it, and we like hadn't really talked like in between. I mean, this was like a month and a half maybe. We had, I mean, casual snaps, but not really texting that much. And you know, I was kind of like, whatever, you know, if he's gonna snap me, fine. I wasn't like bitter about it, but I was just like not really making an effort. And then while I was in Mexico, he had snapped me of this loft, and I was like, oh, is that this loft building? And he's like, yeah, how did you know that? I'm like, oh, well, I've looked at him before. He's like, yeah, we're moving in, like, you'll have to come over once you move in or something like that. And then I was like, yeah, for sure, you know, just like, woohoo, yeah. And so we like snapped a little more while I was on the trip. And then I got home and I was like working for like another like month or so. And like a month. And then I got Miss Macy Jane. She's a little baby puppy. So I got Macy June 1st of 2017. That's you, Macy. Come here. Come on. Come here. We got you, the cutest little puppy ever. Cutest little puppy ever. You wanna come here? Oh, she's coming to say hi. Okay. So I got Macy.
I think the straw's up a bit.
I got Macy and what? Oh, she's sitting on it. Okay, I'm gonna adjust here because she's right on my lap. So I got Macy June 1st, and he had like texted me often. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you should bring her over, and I was like, yeah, for sure. Didn't plan on bringing her over, and then I remember there was like a couple weekends in a row where I was like, he was like, oh, you should bring her over, and I was like, yeah, like I'll bring her over this weekend if I'm downtown. Once again, never intending to really bring her over because I thought he was just gonna like pull something. So I talked to my friend Sam once again, and I was like, Sam, like, will you come to Jonathan's with me? Like, he keeps asking me to bring Macy over, but I don't want to go by myself because I feel like he's gonna pull something. Like, I was just like, I don't know, like, I don't even know what. I was just like, I just don't want to go by myself. So she's like, no. She's like, you know, I think you need to do this on your own. And I was like, Sam, you're supposed to help me out here. And she's like, no, I really think you need to go and figure out what he wants. And I was like, fine. So I'm not going to go over to his house with Macy. So then the next week, this was like the last week of June, I think, or like, why did I want to say the 23rd? No, it was
2 weeks before
the week before that. And I remember I had like the worst week at work. I was super stressed, and I was out to eat, and there was all this stuff going on, and I was so stressed. And he was texting me, and he was like, what did he say? I had it on my phone.
I said, hanging out, or are we finally gonna hang out at least once, like
at least once this year? Yeah, he's like, it'd be nice to hang out at least once this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine. And he's like, so when are you free? And I'm like, I have a little bit of time tomorrow night, and then I'm basically gone for like 2 weeks. And she's like, great. So I'm like, dang it. So I was like, okay, well, she has a vet appointment at like 4 or 5, and I'll bring her over after that. So I brought her over, and I remember walking into your loft, and his brother was taking a nap, and so I brought Macy in and put her on the bed, and she like woke him up, and he was like, this is the best way to wake up ever. And so we were hanging out with his brother, and just we went out on their little like green area, and they were like hitting golf balls, and Macy was just playing around, and like it was super chill and super casual, and I was like, oh, this isn't bad at all. And so then we just hung out for a while, and then I left, and I remember you texted me and you said, that was like really fun. I'd like to do that again sometime, but let's go on a date first. And I remember I was at home and I was talking to my dad, and I was just like telling him, I was like, yeah, it was super fun, like it was super casual, and then you texted me, and I remember I looked at my phone and I just like stopped talking, and like my eyes went all wide, and my dad goes, what? And I'm like, he just asked me on a date, and I was like, felt like a freaking like 15-year-old, and he was like, really? Because we were both, I told him like, I don't think he wants anything serious. I think he just like wants to hang out. And so yeah, so Miss Macy Jane is what kept him coming around. Right?
Because I wanted to hang out with you.
Yeah, she was pretty darn cute. Weren't you? You're pretty darn cute. Okay, you want to go in the back now?
What?
You going back? Go ahead. Come back. You're pretty comfortable, aren't you? Go ahead. Yeah, I know. It's pretty hard to get back there. Okay. Okay, now I think I can move on to the
Got a little pedal in here.
Oh no. Okay, well, we'll make it. Okay, so next question was, how many brothers and sisters do I have? I'll start off on this one because yours is the more exciting one for this. So I almost said 4. I have 3 brothers. I have 2 older brothers and 1 younger brother. My oldest brother lives in Los Angeles. My next oldest brother lives in Minneapolis. He's the one we're going to stay with. And my youngest brother is in Sioux Falls for now. He's kind of debating going out to Los Angeles as well. But that's where he's at right now. So that's me. Now it's Jonathan's turn.
I'm one of 8. Got 4 older sisters first, and then 4 boys next. I'm actually number 7.
Yeah.
My little brother is the one that we briefly referenced.
Yeah.
My oldest sister, Deanna, lives in California, in Moorpark, where we grew up. Then Andrea, she lives in Moorpark as well. Then Leanne lives in Utah. And Elise lives in San Antonio, Texas. My older brothers, Daniel and Andrew, both live in California as well. And then my little brother and I live in South Dakota. And my parents obviously live in California too. So, yeah, big.
And along with that,
Kids, a lot of kids.
yes,
15.
he is going to have 15 nieces and nephews by January. He is 13. 14th is due basically any day.
Like next week.
Yeah. And then 15 will be born in January. And so he has 4 sisters, and then there's 4 boys. So he's 3 brothers. And there's 7 girls and going to be 7 boys. And then they're going to be an 8th boy in January. It's like so perfect. Like it's so crazy. That family, man. So yeah, I have no nieces or nephews. I just have Macy. Okay. We answered that one. If we're going out to eat, where are we going?
Mexican food.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we love Mexican food. Mostly like just like the local places. I mean, in Sioux Falls, we actually do have some really good Mexican spots. One of them, Puerto Vallarta is like the Mexican place that we go to, and then we have a Guatemalan place called Jackie's that is probably lately it's kind of been our favorite. We've gone there more than we've gone to Puerto Vallarta. And then we can throw Qdoba in there. That's another one that we haven't been there in a while. I know, I love
You haven't
Qdoba.
been there in a while.
I haven't been. Oh, you have? So yeah, Mexican food. The other question was if we're going out to fast food, where are we going? We just went there. Culver's.
Yeah, Culver's.
Or In-N-Out. I'm wondering in California we go to
We don't
In-N-Out.
have that.
No, we don't have that. Oh, sorry guys, the lighting it's getting a little dark out. Yeah, so I like to call Culver's like the In-N-Out of the Midwest, because I would say not that it's necessarily as close to In-N-Out, like it's not necessarily like identical to In-N-Out, but I definitely think it's like the best fast food burgers that you can get like in our area. So yeah, that's definitely our fast food spot, or Qdoba, which I consider Qdoba fast food, but it's not like drive-through fast food. Next question. What is your favorite food?
Mexican food.
What is your favorite dessert? Mexican food.
Mexican food.
Just kidding. Wait, you should guess mine. Do you know what mine is?
Yours?
Yeah.
I don't know. Drumstick?
Oh, that's a good one, but no. Think more such as
Cheesecake.
Yes, cheesecake.
That's mine too.
Yeah, cheesecake, especially like Cheesecake Factory, s'mores cheesecake,
Drumstick?
and a drumstick. Yeah, you know those, like the ice cream cone drumsticks? I ate like an entire Costco box by myself, basically. I think I gave him 2. Those are good. You know, with the fudge in the bottom? Oh, I'm telling you. They should just make mini ones where it's just all fudge filled. Just a little, like, bite-sized one.
I think
With
they do have that. Okay, they do have the mini ones. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm pretty sure they are.
Look at that. I'll have to check it out. Oh, it keeps getting so dark. Alright, we're gonna get a little grainy here, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all the food question. Describe me in one word. You describe me in one word. Here we go. Wacko,
Animated.
psycho, crazy. Ooh,
Animated.
animated?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty true. Pretty expressive.
Yeah, very
I
expressive.
can't hide my emotions, which gets me in trouble sometimes. Which I did not realize until this year. And then my coworkers are like, yeah, you don't hide your emotions very well. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Just being real. Oh, I have to describe you in one word.
Have fun. It's grainy.
Yeah, I know. Oh well, that's okay. Okay. My camera stopped recording. So, describe you in one word. I feel like you're pretty chill. Just pretty even keel. Smooth. Okay. Getting real dark, so we'll try to wrap this up.
I'm gonna do a nap.
I don't know. I gotta look. Okay, answered that one. If I won $1 million, what would I do with it?
Blow it.
Probably. Oh.
Macy would have a lot of toys.
Macy would have a lot of toys. She'd also have a lot of other dogs in the house. I think we'd probably travel with it.
Probably.
Travel. We'd buy a nice house.
Investment properties.
Yeah, that's one thing we talked about getting into is flipping houses.
Yeah. houses.
Look at that. It's not the best, but
Yeah. Smell like farts.
welcome to the Midwest. Yeah, it stinks. So yeah.
Ugh. So bad.
Oh, okay. Well, that was that question. What's my Starbucks order? Oh, I know yours. Well, lately yours has been different because I got you hooked on that vanilla sweet cream cold brew.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, it's usually a white chocolate mocha.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's mine?
I don't know.
Mine's annoying.
Decaf, whatever you get,
Yeah.
with caramel and
So basically,
almond milk and something else.
So I have to drink decaf coffee because I have a sensitive stomach. So I basically get an iced caramel frappuccino, but I get it decaf. So my order is very annoying, and I hate myself every time I have to order it. But it's a grande decaf iced Americano with almond milk and caramel. Or I'll get like cinnamon dolce or pumpkin spice if I want to like change up the flavor. But usually
the
almond
holidays
milk.
go around.
Yeah. Like today, I got a decaf iced Americano with pumpkin spice and a splash of cream. Make it a little bit creamy, smooth, and creamy. And that's an inside joke, sorry. So, oh, Sweet and creamy. I'm on his phone because I'm using mine to record, so it takes a second to get in. Okay, last question. Oh, this one's good. Oh, good. It's way better if I lean back. What is your favorite thing about me? My butt. Besides my butt. Just kidding. Not really. Let's go back a little bit.
Your dog.
My dog. Me too. She's my favorite thing about me too.
Neathy. Favorite thing about you? Just one?
All of them.
Let's see here.
He's thinking about how sappy he wants to get.
I don't know. How goofy you can be, and how weird you can be, but at the same time like super serious, super loving, and super passionate actually with everything that she does. Super passionate. Sometimes it can't even, nothing lets it. There's no rest when she figures something out.
Aww. That's cute, babe. Yeah.
I don't know.
Aww. So sweet. Alright. I'll brag about you for a little bit. Obviously I had a little bit of time to think about this. I pulled the questions, so I kind of knew what they were. My favorite thing is that he's so kind of like, when I described him in one word, he's like so chill, and he definitely balances me out. I guess I could talk to you. You balance me out. Like, I'm very much like a worrier and like an overthinker times 10. Like, I overthink everything, and he's always like, I'd say the thing that he says the most is, what is it? How do you say it? It's fine. Or yeah, what do you say? How do you say it?
No, it's I think I just hate
Yeah,
it.
that's fine. Like, he always said, like, it's fine, it's gonna be fine. Like, he always says that, and it's true. Like, I just overthink everything, and he definitely is the opposite of me, where he's just so chill about everything and calms me down, keeps me calm, gets me out of my funk when I'm in a funk. Like he said, sometimes it's hard for me to pull me out of a funk when I'm in it, but so I like that about him. I love his smile. He has the best teeth. He has nice teeth. And he has nice arms. I've always been an arm person. I love his arms. He's got good hair. He's got nice legs.
Got a haircut too.
He got a haircut. Yes, everybody look at his haircut that he got today. But yeah, I just like that he keeps me calm. He evens me out. That doesn't sound right.
That does.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Keep me cool. Also, I like that, one more thing. I like that, how do I phrase it? Like, I'm a dreamer, very much a dreamer, and so is he. Like, I feel like we are good at, like, dreaming in, like, the sense that, like, we like setting goals, kind of. Like, for example, like, even when we first started dating, like, I talked about going to San Francisco, and he's like, well, let's do it. You know, and it's like, oh, that's something I always dreamed about. Like, I never actually thought about, like, actually doing it. And he's like that. And, like, things, you know, we've talked about, like, flipping houses, and it's like, okay, well, let's maybe actually look into actually doing it instead of just talking about it. And, you know, we're even going on trips. Like, we like to plan the next trip when we're on a trip, kind of thing, and talk about, like, what we want to do next. And I appreciate that, because even though, like, all the things we talk about might not necessarily happen, it's still, like, it's fun to dream and, like, have like, possibilities always, like, on the horizon, even if they don't always happen. It's just fun to, like, dream like that. So it's fun that we, like, can talk about that's it, guys. It's like pitch black outside and my phone's running out of memory. So, thanks for tuning in, learning a little bit about us, about Jonathan, and my Macy Jane, and how we met, and a little bit about us as people and as a couple. This is fun. I like this, having questions. So, if you have questions, comment below. We'll do this again. It was fun. Maybe we'll do like round 2 on the way back. Just kidding.
Yeah, maybe when it's brighter outside.
Yeah, when it's not dark and I have more phone memory. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like and subscribe so you can see the next round, and hopefully next time it won't be pitch black.
We should ask Macy questions.
Oh, Macy. Macy, how long have we been together? Not interested. Next question. What is your favorite food? Whatever we're eating, right? Do you like bacon? Oh, she's over it. No pictures, please. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye.